Good morning. We on our way to New York this morning.
We loaded up Ann Arbor, ready to go, get on the plane for New York. Vibes were high, everyone was excited.
First activity we went to the Statue of Liberty.
Got off, went straight to the Statue of Liberty, and man, that was awesome. I'd never been to the Statue of Liberty before.
There was a lot of guys' first time seeing the statue. It was my first time.
I love the Statue of Liberty, just the idea of what it stands for means a lot to me.
Everyone's taking pictures, everyone's having a good time, kind of just walking around.
Going to Hudson Yard and the guys being able to spend some time with representatives from the FBI as well as from the related company, and especially Dave Pearson, who's a former Michigan player, and to not only see people who are incredibly successful in their fields, but also to be able to see a former Michigan football player and see everything that he's achieved at the related company and kind of give them a vision of what their lives after football can be.
I was in the session about real estate. He was just talking about commercial real estate and the opportunities that it brings. It just makes me even more confident why I came here and what my possible future could be.
I actually had the really cool opportunity to go to the New York Stock Exchange and tour the building, be on the floor.
The coolest part obviously was seeing the bell rung and being a part of that.
I went to the Broadway show about MJ. That was just a good experience.
I really wanted to go see Times Square. As soon as I heard we were going to New York, Times Square was the first place I wanted to be at. I was having the time of my life in Times Square, especially seeing some of my teammates on the video board out there. That was awesome.
When the Empire State Building, I wasn't sure what I was expecting. I kind of just imagined like one elevator, straight shots at the top.
The roof of the elevator, it had video playing. As you were going up, it kind of was building it as you were going up.
You're seeing just the entire city all lit up, the beauty of New York City at night, but also just being that high up. So day 2 was kind of cold and rainy, had some adverse conditions for the weather, so plans didn't go as we originally had planned them to, but we loaded all onto buses.
We're gonna do a city tour.
We're somber, going to visit Ground Zero and the One World Trade Center, and what that site means to our country as a whole and so many people.
Being on the train with the guys was a great time. You know, we were able to flip the chairs so we were facing each other, you know, playing games the whole time.
And then after the train ride, going into Top Golf.
Top Golf is always fun. My teammate Isaiah Gash and JJ, they kind of helped me perfect my swing. Probably gonna get into golf a little bit more. The African American Museum of History and Culture, that was a really cool experience.
It's still very, very hard to get a ticket to. So for us to be able to take the entire team and to be able to experience that, see the full kind of African American experience in our country was extremely meaningful to me on a personal level, and I think to a lot of our guys.
I feel like it was a good experience, not only for me, but everybody on the team that was willing to learn, just gain more knowledge about the Black experience.
Coach Harbaugh's always said that not all learning is done in a classroom, and I think this was a prime example of that, of being able to go and learn about some dark periods in American history and also see how the African American community has risen up and a lot of the success stories that have come from African Americans.
It was great to take that walk through history. I feel like it was a first time for a lot of guys to be able to kind of see that and kind of take a step in those people's shoes.
I didn't expect to see the picture of Desmond Howard doing the Heisman pose, and it was just great to see like the representation of the University of Michigan and University of Michigan football.
We spent 3 or 4 hours in the museum, and there were guys who probably could spend another 2 hours in there. And I, for one, am extremely grateful we got the experience. We'll move in a more lighthearted direction to go to the International Spy Museum. It was fun seeing the guys kind of be able to play James Bond for a little bit.
It's almost like a competition. You're trying your hardest to be the best spy you can be.
Coach Josh Inagogo is one of our offense analysts, and we found a kind of lie detector type game. We're trying to lie to the other person.
Finished off the day going to Pinstripes Bowling. You know, that night I think one of my favorite memories was just being able to go and just sit around a fire with about 5 of my teammates and just talking.
Like, we all have like this real like brotherhood here at Michigan.
I'd been to the Capitol before, but I definitely did more than I was ever able to. We got like an exclusive backyard view.
So actually to be there, to kind of like see the people who are making those decisions, how their thought process is, I think that's kind of like a once in a lifetime experience.
To finish that with, you know, on the Capitol steps with dozens of Michigan alumni, just a reoccurring theme, just seeing the amount of support that we have as a program across our country.
What I really enjoyed most about the Library of Congress was actually the art that was all throughout the building.
You know, they pull out dozens of pieces for the Big House and for Ferry Field, and things about Tom Harmon. The most important institution in our country in terms of keeping artifacts has, you know, dozens of pieces about Michigan football.
To finish up the day, we were able to go to a Nationals game. Before you know it, there's rumors going around that Jeff Percy and I are going to have a hot dog eating contest. The timer was set, and it was first one to finish 5 hot dogs wins.
That was up with the Nats game itself. It was so exciting to watch.
It's awesome seeing the guys chasing for foul balls and doing the wave. I actually think they started the wave 3 or 4 times.
Josh Beetham's definitely proved his athletic ability with a one-handed snag. You could definitely see the competitiveness show when those fly balls would hit our way.
Day 5 of the trip, we got to go to Arlington National Cemetery.
Well, good morning. My name is Colonel Tom Austin. I'm a 1994 graduate of the University of Michigan and current Director of Engineering for Arlington National Cemetery. It's an honor to have you all out here. It really means a lot. The team is coming here and spend some time with us today to honor the people who have come before us in service and sacrifice to our nation. At 10 o'clock, we're going to be observing the changing of the guard. We have a guard that's on duty at the tomb 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year.
The ceremony that you are about to witness is the changing of the guard.
The changing of the guard is a real sacred ritual.
Everything was just so on point. It just reminded me of Coach Herb and how he really emphasizes like attention to detail.
Halt and order. Remain as directed. What you are about to witness is an Army wreath-laying ceremony being conducted by University of Michigan football.
Be one of the guys to go up there and lay the wreath was an honor. I wanted to make sure that we did it right.
After lunch that day, we were able to kind of go back to the National Mall, and we each got to pick our own adventure. And I chose to go to the Holocaust Museum. I had heard it was a really impactful museum. And they've done a really good job of bringing everything to life, making it much more real for each of us. And again, just another reminder to each of us that it's our responsibility to make sure that we learn from history.
At night when we went to the National Mall, with most of these things in DC, it was good to finally see some of these things in person. Really put things into perspective of American history.
When we first got to the White House, it's like a huge courtyard, and at the end of the courtyard, it's like the White House, and there's like a huge black fence line that kind of gates off the actual house. One of the guards kind of like looked over, talked to the other guard, and she was like, yeah, you guys can come over, you know, and so we all like ran across the street.
At the Vietnam Memorial, William Wagner had a name on the wall. Seeing him etching in that name, I definitely felt like a more significant meaning from the wall, seeing someone be able to take that from the memorial.
So that morning, drove to Gettysburg.
This is the largest single one battle in the American Civil War. The war itself might end here. So everybody is fighting unlike they have really before.
Gettysburg is really just like a big, large, open field.
Being able to be there on the battlefield and learn about really a turning point in American history, as it was a turning point for the Union Army, was really cool.
Learn about all the ways that it kind of transformed not only Civil War, but just our country in general.
From there, drove over to Harrisburg and hopped on a flight to Cleveland to finish up the trip with the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame and then the NFL Pro Football Hall of Fame in Canton.
I'm a big music guy, and I like all types of music, so there's a lot of things from like the Beatles, from Motown, from Queen, from Michael Jackson, Marvin Gaye.
It was fun. I liked how interactive the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame was. On the second floor, it was kind of like a garage band thing going on, so they had like guitars for us, they had drums. They actually had some old-timey football gear. They had like a leather helmet, the shoulder pads, and they actually had their pants and stuff. And so a few of us actually put this stuff on.
I was ready to just embrace it all too, because obviously I'd never been before. That's kind of an ultimate goal that is in the back of everyone who's ever played football's mind.
Definitely an experience where you grow closer as a team. You get to learn things about different guys that you didn't learn before when you're just having conversations with them on a bus, or when you're sitting at a Nationals game with them, or in a museum with them. You get to learn things about their history, about their families.
Really kind of shows like our privilege of being Michigan football players. Not everybody has the opportunity to go.
I think these trips are incredibly important to our players and to our program as a whole. You know, as someone who got to experience these trips as a player and then now as a coach, it's not only the team bonding that occurs and the time spent outside of football, and then you couple that with the immense amount of learning that you do. You get to visit museums and historical sites and get to learn from people who are accomplished in their respective fields.
I feel like it's just important to learn about the past so you don't make it the future. So I feel like just having those experiences together, everyone should at least be able to go see it once in their lives.
The coolest part of the trip is being with the guys. If I did that trip by myself, it would definitely be cool. I'd take a lot of things away. But being there with my teammates and having a grand time, you know, whatever we were doing. But then you add the fact that we're doing a bunch of cool things and learning all these different historical events and seeing these different sites. I mean, it was just an all-around great experience, and I think everyone comes out with a greater appreciation for the team, for America's history, the history of football.
Coach Harbaugh always says, not all learning is done in the classroom, and I think these trips are the epitome of that.